Today, Axios obtained a copy of an internal dissent memo signed by 100 State Department and United States Agency for Internal Development employees that absolutely blasts the Biden administration and its unwavering, committed support to Israel's brutal actions in Gaza. Now, the 5-page memo, which was sent to the State Department Policy Office about a week and a half ago, opens by acknowledging what I think everyone accepts. They acknowledge the brutal terrorist attacks and atrocities carried out by Hamas on October 7th. So they are in no way minimizing that. They are in no way justifying that and making very clear that Israel, yes, does have the right to defend themselves. But they also make clear that Israel, like any other country on this globe, does not have the right to carry out its own atrocities and its own war crimes. And that is currently what is happening right now. Now, Axios reports that, again, the rest of the letter is spent criticizing Israel's counterattack. Here's what it reads. Members of the White House and the National Security Council displayed a clear disregard for the lives of Palestinians, a documented unwillingness to de-escalate, and even prior to October 7th, a reckless lack of strategic foresight. And I have to say, I really appreciate that last sentence, because what's happening right now didn't happen in a vacuum. And the United States has shown unwavering support for the Israeli government, regardless of what the Israeli government consists of. Are they left-wing politicians, far-right politicians? Doesn't matter. You have to support Israel no matter what. The United States government has provided support for Israel regardless of which kinds of responses or war crimes they've carried out that has disproportionately impacted and killed Palestinian civilians. Now, without offering a specific example, the memo also accuses the Biden administration of spreading misinformation in his October 10th speech, supporting Israel, and one of the signature addresses of his presidency. But then they also do get a little specific when they mention this. The memo also criticized Biden for questioning the number of deaths in Gaza. Remember, Biden did seek to provide cover and help launder the reputation of Israel's current government by pouring cold water on the notion that all these civilians have died in the Gaza Strip. You shouldn't believe it because the Gazan health ministry is controlled by Hamas and they're lying. Except the State Department under Biden uses those figures in their official documents. Historically speaking, you can compare the numbers of casualties reported by the Gaza Health Ministry to what other independent sources on the ground had reported about the number of casualties. They're very similar. If anything, there have been instances of the Gaza Health Ministry undercounting the number of casualties, civilian casualties. The memo also accuses Israel of committing war crimes against the Palestinian people, which is language that the Biden administration has absolutely avoided like the plague. They write, quote, "Yet we have failed to reassess our posture toward Israel. We doubled down on our unwavering military assistance to the Israeli government without clear or actionable red lines." And the memo also said that we strongly recommend that the United States government advocate for the release of hostages by both Hamas and Israel. I love that they mention this because this never gets mentioned. They cited the thousands of Palestinians being held in Israel, including those without charge. There's more, Cenk, but I'm curious what you think about this. I mean, this isn't the first time that people within the Biden administration have spoken out about, the US government's unwavering support for the Israeli government and what they're carrying out. Do you think this time it'll change something?
No. So I love those people and I appreciate them. And that's what makes our government great and special in our country, that we allow for dissent like that. When Trump was in charge, he squashed all dissent. And now he's talking about arresting people who dissented against him in his own government if he gets back into power. Now, Biden, to his credit, is not doing that. And he's not saying, we're gonna arrest these people or fire them all or replace them with shock troops or anything along those lines. But that's as far as I'll go for credit for Biden. On the other hand, as these people in his own administration who signed up to do work that they thought was going to be good for the world are saying, we're co-signing on this. We can't keep killing all these civilians. It's unbelievable what we're doing. These are things that we call war crimes to other countries all the time. It's not close they're definitely war crimes. And that's not me saying it, that's 100 people inside the United States State Department saying it. And is it going to move Biden an inch? No way. Biden has always been a warmonger. He voted for the Iraq war. He's voted for almost every war we've ever gotten involved in. He always huffs and puffs and goes, "Oh well, I wish it was. I wish we had other options, but well, war's the only option, and that's the option I always vote for. Golly gee, I put a lot of thought into this." But I think us and our allies should continue to kill as many people as possible, and war is great. And if you're doubting that about recent, because some people think, oh, Biden is a big changed man. He's now FDR. You remember when progressives were saying that in Washington? Forget other Democrats. Progressives who are totally suckered into the Biden administration and co-signing on all of their nonsense. Oh, he's the new FDR. Well, how about the Iran deal? It was Barack Obama's deal. It was great. It brought us peace. It took the uranium out of Iran so they couldn't develop a nuke. It was working great. Then Trump comes in, butchers it, takes us out of the deal, makes war much more likely. And what does Biden do? Why not just go right back into the deal the first day? No, he co-signs Trump and says, no, I'm not going back into that deal. I prefer war. Peace, we had a perfectly great peace deal under Obama. I don't want it. I don't want it. Instead, I want more conflict, more war, more money being spent on defense contractors, which also happen to finance me. But anyway, so is he going to listen to people that have morality in his own State Department? There's absolutely no chance of that.
So these memos will continue happening. This isn't the first one. There are State Department officials who have resigned because of their disagreement with how the Biden administration is handling this ongoing war. And so the only thing that gives me solace is knowing that there are some people within our State Department, within our federal government, who see what's happening in a very sober way, and they understand that there are war crimes being committed by our ally, the Israeli government. And I don't know how this all ends. But what I do know is Biden has been an incredible disappointment in how he's handled this situation. You're right, he's likely to continue supporting Israel regardless of what it does.
And by the way, Netanyahu, not just other Israeli officials, but Netanyahu has said many, many times, Joe Biden never questions us. He's a great ally to my government. Yeah, if he writes you a blank check and lets you kill as many civilians as possible, of course you're gonna be his biggest fanboy. So right now, the whole world is disgusted by what Netanyahu and his government is doing, with one notable exception: Joe Biden.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.